You get stale.
Popcorn?
Popcorn.
Popcorn.
You forget about things like stale.
Popcorn.
Popcorn, stale popcorn.
Popcorn.
Pop.
This is the
Stale popcorn.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Stale Popcorn Podcast. I'm your host, Steven, and with me as always is my co-host, Christopher. How you been living?
I've been living well. What's good with you, Steve?
Oh, well, living the dream, as most white folks say.
Did you just give out your racial identity here on this pod?
Ooh, half of it, yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh-wee.
All right. No, I'm sure
Guess
no one
the other
can.
half in the comments.
I'm going to guess Cambodian. What are we? I'm just guessing here. Leave your guess in the comments here. Oh, all right.
Wrong.
No one will ever guess what I am.
Chris, you got some, what you got? You got news for me?
Ooh, I got a little bit of news here. Ebon Moss-Bachrach. Ever heard of him?
That's a name?
Yeah. It's
What's
cousin.
that? Oh, sure, yeah, from The Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was asked how he's been training to play the Thing in the upcoming Fantastic Four film.
Yes.
He said, I've just been looking at rocks.
Very literal, yeah.
Yeah.
Method of him.
I know. And I was curious because I forgot they were doing a Fantastic Four. You know who's cast in this?
I know Pedro Pascal's in there.
Mm-hmm. He's
think-
Mr. Fantast.
What do you think of that casting?
I like Pedro. I wouldn't have thought of him, but I mean,
Yeah.
I typically like his movies, so I'm fine with it.
Mission Impossible girl, something
Vanessa Kirby.
Vanessa Kirby, yeah. And then Joseph Quinn is Johnny Storm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of a safe casting choices. I would have thought they would have gone somewhere else, but
Yeah, it's also got Paul Walter Hauser, if you know who that is.
no.
He's that
Who's it?
big, fat Richard Jewell you ever seen? He's in a couple episodes of It's Always Sunny.
Does he play Sheldon's dad in Young Sheldon?
I never seen this show, but he's one of those, you see him, you recognize him. It's also got another one of those, his name is Ralph Ineson. Know him? He's got a real deep voice. He's in
yes.
Game of
He was in
Thrones.
Vavitch.
Yes. It's also got Julia Gardner from Ozark. You know her?
Oh, yeah.
And it shows John Malkovich here, but I don't know, maybe he's going to be the old, what's his name? The one villain.
Doom?
Yeah, Dr. Doom, the one villain.
I'm John Malkovich. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah. Channing Tatum says the canceled 23 Jump Street movie had the best script he's ever read for a third movie. I would love to do it with Jonah, and Jonah, I know, wants to do it.
I say I'll let him eat cake.
I know.
Because those two were great. I loved those. And I heard a rumor, I don't know if this is true, that it was going to integrate with Men in Black.
Yeah.
And that would have been
That would have been
fantastic.
something. Yeah, that was on the script,
opportunity.
so that was planned. But according to Channing, he said the higher-ups, out of their control, decided to nix it.
Those nerds.
Yeah. Inside Out 2 earns $100 million in this film's second domestic weekend, a 35% drop, the best hold for any major blockbuster in history.
So it's doing very well.
It's doing very well. Seventh film ever to gross $100 million plus in second weekend, and it has earned $724 million already, the highest grossing movie of 2024.
Congratulations, Disney. You did it. You did
They
it.
finally did it. David Fincher is developing his English language Squid Game remake with writer Dennis Kelly.
Interesting. No, see, I'm not opposed to that because I love me some David Finch.
Mm-hmm.
However, I feel like Squid Game was pretty great just as is.
Mm-hmm.
I do understand there was some translation issues when it came to certain not slogans, slang that didn't quite capture it. But I'm an American, a smooth-brained American who watched it and had a blast.
Yeah.
And all right, I'd be down.
Speaking of David Finch, did you see his last film?
No, what was it?
The Assassin or something? It had Magneto in it. The Killer, I believe, is what it's called.
Oh,
or
yes.
something.
I heard about that. I think it's on Netflix. It's on my watch list.
The wife and I were just on Netflix one night, and this is months back, and it popped up David Fincher's new film, and we're both fan of Finch, so we stopped what we're doing and put that on, and it didn't really feel like one of his films. I wasn't a huge fan. It was a little boring, if you ask me. He's got a little work to make up for me.
Mm-hmm.
Scarlett Johansson confirms she's starring in the new Jurassic World movie. Quote, "The script is so incredible. I've been trying to get into this franchise in any way possible for over 10 years. I'm like, I'll die in the first 5 minutes I can, get eaten by whatever. I'll do the craft service. I'll do anything. The fact that it's happened this way at this time just is actually unbelievable."
Now, Chris, I know she's not in a Nick Cage situation where she needs money, but it quite sounds like he's like, oh man. First of all, I didn't even know they're making was this a fourth one?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Like, what's the reason? Why kick a dead horse?
Did you watch the last one?
I watched some of it. I tried to, but it was like, I'd rather watch Jurassic Park 3 on a loop 24 hours straight
Yeah.
than go through that again.
I feel like I don't hate them as much as most I mean, people love them. They make a ton of money, all of them. That's why they're pumping these out here. But I remember watching the last one in theaters, and the plot didn't really make any sense, which a lot of them, there's at least some sort of logic. But this one, it was more of like, we're just going to bring back the greats, bring back Dr. Grant, Malcolm, whoever. That's all we care about. The logic, that's by the wayside here.
I'll give them that they were able to bring back the legacy characters together in one scene. They did in one movie what he knew Star Wars couldn't do. Bring all three of the people together, so.
The first trailer for the Red One. You heard of this?
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. I
starred Dwayne Johnson, Chris Evans, and J.K. Simons.
Yes. Have you seen it
on here? I saw the trailer.
I really want to know who this movie is for. Like, who's your target audience? It's all over the place, really. It just looks like a mess. Like we talked about in Atlas, Drake and Josh fake movies.
Yeah.
This one really does feel and look like a fake trailer movie, Tropic Thunder style. And it just looks bad, looks awful. What do you think?
Another thing is, like, it's a Santa Claus action movie, which I don't know what's going on, but last year they made one with Hellboy, Hopper.
Yeah, it's like Silent Night.
Yeah. And they made one, like, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years, but I remember there's one with Mel Gibson where he's like angry Santa too. And I'm like, what? Yeah. Who wants these? Why are we making so many? I feel like one was plenty.
Yeah. It looks really bad, really stupid. If Kevin Hart doesn't appear as an elf at some point, I'll give you $100 and the shirt off my back.
Yeah.
He's going to weasel his way in there with his buddy,
That's true. That's a good point. Rotten Tomatoes scores for the June TV shows. Now, Steve, can you name the 4 hit shows that are coming out this month?
We got The Boys. We got The Acolyte. We got The Bear. And we got a fourth one.
House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon, that's what it is.
Going by tomato meters, highest to least highest. So, The Boys, Season 4, 93%. The Bear, Season 3, 93%. House of the Dragon, 91%. And The Acolyte, 83%.
Okay. I disagree with one of those.
The Real Bros, a Simi Valley high school reunion, comes out on July 5th. That's how we're going to celebrate our independence here. That just came out of nowhere for me. Apparently it's coming out next week on the Roku channel, I think I saw.
Okay. Now, I think this Real Simi Bros is a hilarious show. Was it you who showed it to me? I think it was you who showed it to me, right?
I might have. I remember watching it in college.
Yeah. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, I remember thinking these were hilarious in college, and it's been a few years since, I guess, the last season. But apparently, so I think it was like season 1 he did on his YouTube channel, because it's Jimmy Tate, if you did. And then it was like season 2 and 3 were on like
The
Facebook,
Facebook channel or something. Yeah.
but somehow it got the rights back, so they're all on YouTube. So it's nice and easy to catch up or watch those.
Very good. Yeah.
But that's all the announcements I got, Steve. You got anything?
I don't have any additional announcements, but what I do have is a question, and that question is, what you been watching?
I actually been pretty busy, so I didn't have any time to watch any flicks. How about you, Steve?
I too have had a very busy week. I have been chipping away with the Acolyte and stuff, and I'll wait to pass judgment because wait till something's done to really lay it all out there, and hopefully it can really tie up these loose ends, several of them. But
Sure.
and then I also did start The Bear, which I think we're going to talk about maybe next week.
Yeah.
Get some time to watch about that. And then I also wanted to just, have a relaxed watch. So I've been starting to watch Ted Lasso. You ever watch that?
Oh, yeah. I've seen it all.
It's a good show. I like it.
It's the definition of relax.
Oh, yeah.
watch, if you ask
Yeah.
me.
It's
How
funny.
far are you in?
I watched it before. I think I watched the final season last year. But it's kind of, we're just a background show. Just it's good stuff.
Yeah.
I like it quite a bit. Anything else?
Now I say we dive right in on
Let's-
this hit film.
Let's dive right in. So this week we got a treat for you. We're going to be talking about A Quiet Place Day 1, which is the third installment in the Quiet Place-averse, actually a prequel to the first two. So like the title says, Day 1 takes place the first day of all this nonsense happening, starring Joseph Quinn, or Eddie Munster. You might know him from Stranger Things, and Lupita Nyong'o. I did my best I could. And yeah, we're just going to talk about it, non-spoilers for a bit. Good, bad, whether we recommend it, and then dive into spoilers. So, Chris, why don't you give us a quick rundown?
Let me just start off by apologizing. We sitting there and the movie starts and you got Lupita Nyong'o. What is that? What you said here?
Yeah, we'll just call her Lupita
Yeah.
for sure.
And my wife turns to me and she says, "Is that Black Panther? She from Black Panther?" And I, with my high and mighty, I said, "No, you racist. That's not her. You think they all look the same?" And turns out it was her. So
Yeah.
my bad. But yeah, it's got those two. It's got the Jumanji boy, I think.
Oh, Hereditary.
Yeah. And you got Digimon sneaks in there.
Yeah, very, very sneaky.
Yeah.
We'll
I
get
mean,
into it.
he was in the trailer, but
Yeah.
it's its own story here, prequel. It takes place on day 1, believe it or not.
I believe it.
Basically just different characters, their point of view. And they're in New York City when it all goes down. And it's hectic. It's chaos.
Another Bloody Tuesday on New York City, am I right?
Yeah. What's the difference? But I enjoyed the film. I think it's my favorite of the 3. Maybe it's recency bias.
Really?
I think the story might not be as good. Like, if you go by simply, if you're like reading the plot, it's probably not as interesting, but it's a lot more action-packed. Versus first one, there's like, I don't know, 4 scenes with kind of action. The second one, there's more action, but this one, it feels like it's constant. You got the beginning where it's set it up, not very suspenseful, and then maybe there's like one part where there's like a little bit of a lull, but other than that, it's a lot more action. You got a lot more monsters, a lot more dying. The stakes are high,
Yeah.
So I think I'd give that like a 4. I gave the other ones 3.5. I think I'm going to give this a 4.
Nice. Well, Chris, I'm actually glad you think that, because as many of you might know, we have a presidential debate going on, and I like to counter that by having our own debate, because Chris, I did not like this at all. I want to get into it with you.
Wow.
Without spoiling, yeah, I'd probably give it a 2. It was not for me at all. Like, bad taste in my mouth. Didn't like it. Wasn't a fan of it. It was kind of boring, to be honest with you, if we're being frank with each other. Yeah. I think it was a good theater experience because people were quiet for the most part, but I would recommend just like watching it on streaming, get your date going there, save some money, make out during the boring parts, which is 90% of it. But I didn't think the characters were good at all. I didn't like them, didn't connect with them, thought they were stupid, thought they were lame. Is cheap ploy to get that cat involved. Everyone in my theater thought he was the funniest thing to ever walk on 4 legs.
Yeah.
I was like, am I being punked? Like, this isn't funny. Like, every time the cat would just show up and everyone would just lose their mind. And I'd be like, what is this? Like, it's not fun. It's a cat, man. And I thought, should have had some balls to freaking kill the cat. And sorry for screenwriters who, read that book, Don't Hand the Cat, but I thought they should have killed that cat, get me involved somehow. I don't know, man.
I don't know if you caught that Easter egg in the background, but she's reading the book and you see the bookstore behind her. It's called Argyle Books.
I did not catch that.
You didn't see that?
No.
And we got the same cat from Argyle, basically, This thing's indestructible.
Yeah.
All right, well, should we dive into the spoilers here and
let's
really get at it?
So let me just break it down for you. If you were to tell me it started off with a weird marionette sequence that went nowhere, I would have been like, why is that in the movie? And to that answer, I got nothing. I don't know why it's in the movie. This weird, stupid puppet show. You remember that?
I thought it was entertaining.
I'm glad you thought that.
I was just like the kids waving at it. Wow, it blew a balloon. Crazy.
Yeah, so it starts off this really unlikable character. She's in hospice and I don't know.
Why is she unlikable? Steve?
What was she like? There was nothing.
She's sick. She's got cancer, you animal.
Well, they want to be treated like everybody else. I'm going to treat you like everybody.
She writes that hilarious poem in the beginning making fun of all the dying old people in the hospice she's staying at.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
Edgy 12-year-old goth girls are taking notes, let me tell you. Give me something to hold on to here. Like, she just doesn't have any redeeming qualities besides loving that cat. I'm not a pet person, so it did nothing for me, Yeah, the first few minutes, I felt like it could have built up the tension a little bit better. The first sequence of Quiet Place Part 2, that day one, I felt like did a better job of this, than this. Because it was just normal life, and then something happens, you see the meters, and then it just punches you in the face. It tried to do that, but it just didn't work for me. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. It just didn't hit as hard.
I love that beginning scene at the baseball game. Hey, Rick, how you doing? It shows him going to the store and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say that's better, but not saying this one's not bad itself.
Listen, after that happens, you remember that episode of Game of Thrones season 8 where Daenerys is burning down King's Landing, and it's from the perspective of Arya. She's in the rubble in first person. That's about 30-40 minutes of the movie. You remember that? She's just walking through dust-covered thing, and I'm like, all right, we get it. Let's get this going.
Yeah.
And then the next 45 minutes are a rinse and repeat of her and Eddie Munster. They are running through the city, and then they pan over slowly to a monster, and then they are quiet, and then they accidentally bump something, and then they run, and they hide, and they narrowly escape. That happens 4 times in a row, bro. I'm like, we just did this. You can't keep fake building that tension. And then just we talked about it last week. The monsters are really inconsistent. A ripped shirt will set them off, but them running doesn't, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it really showed it just, grossness.
Also, they have super speed, it seems like, but humans outrun them when it's convenient for the plot when they don't want to die. The end scene, well, I know we're skipping ahead, but there's a Munson, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He's running with the cat, and the monster's chasing him, and it's not a quick little sprint. He's going for a good, 30 seconds here, and he outruns it, and almost gets him. But, you see other times where these things, they look like they're going faster than a cheetah. You'd say these are faster than cheetahs and such, and, I do have those qualms. I was trying to look past, because the other movies have them as well.
Yeah.
And I was comparing it to the others here.
This was very evident of all the Quiet Place weaknesses, I felt. It really showcased all the problems with this franchise. In the first 2, it had some good motivations, right? Family man trying to help his family survive. You attach to that real quick. As a father myself, Christopher, I attached to that. just wants what's best for his kids. And the second one, same thing. The moms looking out for their kids, and they want to destroy the whole thing. Noble purpose. This one, the quote noble purpose of our main character is, I kid you not, to get some pizza. I was like, surely ye jest, because I'll like, I love pizza more than the next 100 people, but I could not sanction this absolute buffoonery of these two people just going through. I just couldn't do it. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're convincing me. I did have a negative is the plot itself, like I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Aliens come, everyone's trying to flee, go to the boats, get off because they're in New York, and they blow down the bridges. But what's her name? Sam, I believe?
The main character?
Yeah, Sam. She's going the opposite way because she wants a piece of pizza. That's like one of the first couple minutes. They convince her to go to the city, to go to that, play thing with the wooden doll. What do you call those? Marionette. She's like, I'll only go if I get pizza. And he's like, fine, we'll get pizza. And then he's like, hey, we got to leave now. She's like, well, not after pizza, right? And no, now, the world's ending. We kind of got to get out. No, pizza. And then he dies. They all die. And she's like, all right, well, let's get pizza,
Yeah.
She's kind of like married Kate and Ashley. She's like, give me pizza. Pizza.
Yeah.
She gets the pizza, and then she's like, all right, well, she's going to die anyways because she's got cancer. And she's like, all right, you take my cat. You hop on the boat that's going to the island from Quiet Place Day 2 with Digimon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to distract them. Somehow they don't kill me, and then at the end, I'm going to kill myself here or have them kill me with my help,
Yeah.
So plot-wise, it's not great, but I thought it was a little more suspenseful.
What part in particular? Or were there...
Well, I'll be honest. I don't really get spooked anymore. I really try to put myself in the character and get spooked. But my wife, she was getting scared. She was grabbing my arm. She's punching me, slapping me, spitting on me, whatever it is, and she's normally not a spooked gal.
Mm-hmm.
Now me, it was more exciting, I guess. I wouldn't say, I'd say there was one time I maybe jumped a little, but I mean, I'm just a masculine man that doesn't get scared.
Very much so. Yeah, no, I just think it didn't do a good job of building tension or really creating any unique scenes. Because I'm like, I think the majority of the time, seeing what happened where they're in a situation where they're like, you gotta be quiet, can't make noise, you gotta be quiet. And I'm like, maybe if you walk backwards slowly or just waited them out, I mean, maybe chalk it up to adrenaline, your mind's going all crazy and whatever, hindsight's 50-50. I didn't think the tension they had built up with any of the sequences are really memorable. Yeah, I feel like I've had like trips to my toilet that were more intense, had a better storyline too. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I'll push back here. You got Digimon just killed the man. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
In front of his kid.
Yeah, let's talk about Digimon. Utterly wasted, bungled opportunity. And I think that's the most egregious sin that this movie makes is you got a boy and Digimon Hansu, an actor's actor, and he did nothing. A glorified...
He killed the guy.
Sure,
and told the boat to stop. What are you talking about? This guy is
the main character. Like, give me a break. It's just...
Oh, I was glad he wasn't. I was scared he'd be in it the whole time because there's no stakes with him. He's not going to die.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
That was mine. I was like, all right, I like Digimon, but I don't really want a prequel with him because obviously he's not going to die. And it's a horror movie. I want to think someone's going to die. And I feel like this one, it really got me because normally you kind of have a feeling of who's safe, who's going to die. And this one, they have Jumanji, Hereditary Boy, who you think is going to be a main character. He pulls a little boy from the first one and gets killed within a couple minutes. And you're like, oh, wow, he's not safe. And then you got Sam and Eric. And the whole time I'm thinking, there's no way this man's making it. He's going to pull, John Krasinski and Mike Wazowski and sacrifice himself here.
Yeah.
But turns out he lives. So, but I thought he was a goner. There were so many times I'm like, this is all right. This is it. This man's going to die. Hey, I even thought that cat was going to die for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
Then after that, I was like, all right, he's clearly, this cat will never
You can't
die
kill
here.
pets, though. People would be like,
I don't like the movie because they killed the cat, and I like cats.
Yeah. Except John Wick
well,
is integral. To quote Michael Scott, it was integral to the plot.
yeah.
He said, by far the most expensive scene, but it was integral.
There's a couple things where, like, I don't know if I imagined or whatever, but there's a scene where Eddie Munster's, like, chasing down the cat, and he gets into, like, one of the aliens, like, nests or something.
Yeah.
There's, like, a big, thick boy alien.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe he's going to find their weakness or something. And it just nothing happens. Like, oh, they have these other ones, and then here's a thick boy, and that's it.
It was their nest, but they were like eating something.
They're like eating an egg or something. I was like, are you going to expand on that at all? No? Okay.
Yeah,
What?
that's what, yeah. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
One of them has literally got its sonar thing, I kid you not, probably 7 inches from the guy's face.
Yeah.
And it somehow doesn't hear him breathing. And then it hears something else louder or something and goes over there.
Yeah.
And it's one of those other situations where you're like, all right, the monster can't see me. All he can do is hear me. And every time, I mean, granted, it works for them, I guess, but they're like trying to move. I'm like, just stay put, man.
Yeah.
Like, why? He's like, let me try climbing this thing here, get to the cat. And
That's what I'm saying. These characters aren't smart. And it just was like very frustrating to watch.
yeah, and Eric, he gets real nervous, but only when he's next to Sam and there's creatures. Like that time, he did just fine, being quiet. But when there's an alien, when he's with Sam, he's like freaking out,
Yeah.
hard to breathe.
Little baby, little wolf
Yeah.
bag. Also, I feel like they tried to have some emotional moments in there. They got the swelling orchestra and
Talking about my dad, he used to be a jazz player. He would play some beautiful piano, and let's cry about it.
and
it was Ray Charles or something, I'm sure.
yeah. No, it just was like they did that 2 or 3 times, and I was like, I don't really care. Like, maybe I'm just a jaded old gross man, but
Yeah.
like I don't care about this.
Yeah, I didn't really care either. Like I said, I wasn't there for the plot. But yeah, there's like every scene, she's got one single tear coming from her eye. It seemed like, I kid you not, probably 10 different times. It's just like a simple tear coming down her eye. Some of my cons, I'll go cons here, then I'll get
Sure.
my pros just to help you out here. Yeah, the cat is just indestructible, can't die, got 9 lives. There's a scene where they jump in like a little river, sewer thing or something, and the cat's like underwater. They get out. The cat's perfectly dry somehow. Somehow doesn't freak out. Again, jump out. Also, part 1, if you remember Digimon, maybe you can correct me here. But
Digimon was in part 2, actually.
Sorry. Part 2, Digimon. He's talking about how they got on the island, and he's like, whoa, the boats, but it was chaos. All these people die. They turned on each other or something. So I'm thinking there's going to show some scene about that. But according to this movie, you'd think it's like, oh, there's one big boat and everyone made it there.
Yeah.
Whoever made it, and then they drove off just fine. Or this one doesn't really show nothing.
I feel like it would have been better as like a mini series to really flesh out some of the characters, because it is an interesting world and there's some fun things you could do with it. It's like, I guess they've kind of done it with The Last of Us. I just felt like it could have been a lot better, like had some scarier moments. Definitely could have had a better script, because I'm like, what are we doing here? I asked myself that like at least 8 times. I was like, what are we doing? Head in my hands a lot of the time, just like, what? It's not a horrible movie, by the way. Like I said, if you're a teenager, you got a gal you're trying to swoon who's a scaredy cat, pun intended, then watch this movie. You put an arm around her, and it's a good time for you. But yeah, it just didn't hit for me.
Now, let me ask you, what's better, this or Bird Box?
Ooh. From what I can remember, I thought Bird Box was really stupid, Dang. You know, I'll probably say this is better than Bird Box. Although it does have that, Bird Box does have that funny gif of that guy opening that old lady's eyes. So I'll give it to Bird Box.
Yeah, Lord Beckett.
Yeah.
She kind of pulls the Lord Beckett at the end there. She's listening to her iPod or something with the earplugs in, and it ends. She unplugs the jack, so it's playing the speaker, and then the monsters show up, and then it cuts to scene, you know, kind of pulling the, it's just good business. Sir, orders, sir. Now that, you gotta admit, he's got the best death, or top 10 death in cinema history.
Or sure. I do have a couple of goods, a couple of pros here. I thought some of the shots were really cool, and I thought the way they showed the monsters seemed a lot more terrifying because there's a lot of them. Like there's a stampede of them where you're like, oh dang, there's a Lion King stampede herd size of them. You know, like there's a lot just crawling about, and so they're like, oh dang, this is a huge threat. So I thought that was cool. They had some good shots, and Eddie Munster and Sam Lapita, they did pretty good. I felt like they did have some good acting at times, but for me, the acting is overshadowed by their stupidity as characters. Compliment sandwich, I guess, in the back.
Yeah, wow, sounds like a real pro for you.
But
now I'm sure you won't guess what this next pro I have is.
Was it that it's short?
We're looking at 99 minutes. That's under 100. I was great. And I in and out here.
Yep.
To me, it didn't really drag. There's one scene where they're eating their pizza. They finally get the pizza, and he's doing this crazy, wicked card trick, and they're drinking at some pizza place. That kind of felt like it dragged on. There's another part where they get to her place, which I guess she just lives. She must be like pretty rich because she lives in the city, and she's got like a pretty big apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And they're yelling during the thunderstorm and such.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, I feel like it was pretty action-packed. I thought she was a fine character. I wouldn't say she's no John Krasinski or even Killian or them per se. But, I mean, it's kind of interesting to see a different perspective. You normally don't see the person that's not really, they're like accepting their death. She's got to die anyways. She's like, all right, I'm not going to worry about escaping this. I'm just going to try to live my life.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. I guess that could be an interesting perspective. One that I guess I wasn't interested in.
I guess you don't care about different perspectives here.
Oh, man. So where would you rank this? Do you think it's better than, say, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes?
Yeah, definitely.
Fair enough.
You wouldn't?
Probably not. Because I'd have a more entertaining time watching Planet of the Apes, because I'd be like, there's some good looking apes there. Look at that. Look at those computers doing their jobs.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up good points. I just felt like this one was, I could see myself watching this more often than a lot of movies that come out. Like, I'll probably watch this again before I watch Monkey Man again, you know? And Monkey Man I liked.
Fair enough.
It just seems like a movie you could put on, and you don't really have to think that hard. It's entertaining to watch. I'll bump it down to 3.5. Is that
sure.
fine?
And I'll bring mine up. What did I say, 2?
Yeah, bring it up to 3.5. We'll call it even.
Yeah. No, I think, I mean, anyways, that's all I got to say about the matter. But anything else you got to say about it?
No, I guess that's mainly it. But it was a great, honorable debate with you.
Let the people decide.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. Is it a 3.5 or 2? And what do you say? 2 or 2.5?
You know, to be nice, I'll give it 2.5. Because you swayed me on a few things too.
I want to look up the Rotten Tomatoes.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Oh, wow.
Oh my.
All right. I guess a lot of critics must have watched it, but when I saw it, like yesterday or something, it said it was the highest rated out of all of them. But now I'm checking, and it is the lowest. So,
84. It's got a 6.8 on IMDb.
85% Rotten Tomato critics. It doesn't show the audience yet. Critic-wise, the first one got 96. Second one got 91. but audience-wise, second one got 92%. First one only got an 83. Anyways, let us know who do you think is right, who do you think's wrong, who's an idiot, who are you voting for,
and what do you think of the movie if you saw it?
Yeah, if you think it's better than a 3.5, let us know. If you think it's worse than a 2, let us know here. But something tells me you're thinking 3.5.
Don't let them get to you. Don't let them intercept your brain. Next week, I think we're going to talk about The Bear, right? Season 3. Well, unless anyone comes up with a good suggestion in the comments.
When's Twister's coming out? I'm not gonna lie, I seen the trailer, and I watched it in the RPX seats where they shake, and those tornadoes that made the seat shake. And oh man, I'm actually excited for that one. I'm gonna watch it.
It's July 16th, and
well, all right.
I'm turning into a real Glenn Powell fan ever since I saw Spy Kids 3D. So I'm ready. I'm gearing up for it.
My wife, she saw it and she was like, "Oh, I want to see that. I'm a fan of his." Ever since she saw Hitman, she liked him.
Nice.
But when we watched his other movie, Anyone But You with Sydney Sweeney, she didn't like him. But now she's into him because of Hitman. So we're both gung-ho, ready to twist.
Very good. All right. Yeah, I think that one's July 16th or that week.
All right, then.
Check that out.
Oh, we'll probably do The Bear then. That sounds fun to me.
Cool. Well, if you're listening this far into it, thanks for listening, and hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Any comments or questions, you can feel free to email us or comment on the video. Our email is thestalepopcornpod@gmail.com. Also follow us on LinkedIn. What am I saying? Bloody Instagram.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, don't forget to connect with us and put hashtag I'm hiring, or what do they say? Hashtag looking for work.
You know why I have LinkedIn on my mind, you little creep. But anyway, thanks for listening. Have a great week. Anything else?
No, that's all I got. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye. Like stale.
Popcorn, stale popcorn.
Popcorn.
Pop, 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 pop.
This is the
Stale popcorn.
Popcorn!